Evan Grant from the Dallas Morning News. Just real quickly, what ended up being kind of the deciding factor for you in coming back to Texas?
Um, I mean, all things considered, just being at home and playing for a team that's got the ability to win a World Series. I mean, there's no better time to come play for the Rangers. So, I thought it would be very hard to pass up this opportunity.
Are you living? Where are you living now?
I live in North Richland Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm real close. 25 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah. The other thing for me was, look, you had dominant numbers in 2023.
Mhm.
And when I look at whatever metrics I look at for last year, you still gave up a lot of soft contact. You still got a lot of ground balls. The numbers just weren't as good. What was the difference, do you think?
I mean, a lot of balls finding holes, whereas the year before they found gloves. So, I mean, you could argue the year before I was very lucky, and then last year I was very unlucky, and they might balance themselves out over time. But I don't think much changed with pitch usage, pitch selection, all that stuff. It was all pretty much the same. You look at my underlying numbers; they're all pretty much the same, like you were saying. Um, I think, yeah, a lot of bad luck and just some kind of. I pitched in a lot more situations where my goal was to make sure nobody else had to pitch after me. And so, I mean, when that's the case, that kind of changes the way you throw a little bit. But not trying to make excuses, just throwing out possibilities.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I think I'll be doing pretty much the same thing I did 2 years ago, same thing I did last year. I mean, obviously, we'll look over things to tweak things here and there, and we'll dive deep into stuff to see what we need to adjust. But yeah, it shouldn't be too much different.
Hey, and I know this is a stupid question, but just hear me out. Were you going back to UT, were you that low always?
No, I was a three-quarter arm slot guy until my second year in Double A with the Phillies. Um, I'd been a starter my whole career to that point, and then um, the end of that season, they told me, you kind of are plateauing here in Double A. We don't really see you advancing on from here unless you make some big changes. And the pitching coordinator at the time, his name was Rafael Chavez. He was watching me do PFP and pickoff and stuff like that, and he noticed that I threw really well sidearm for PFP. He's like, honestly, that looks pretty natural for you. I think you ought to try doing that off the mound." So we gave it some thought, and we finally decided to do it with a month left or so in the 15 season, and then kind of rebuilt from there.
And it's been pretty much the same since you went to that angle, right? I mean, you haven't changed too much.
Yeah, I mean, year to year, honestly, it changes a little bit. Like, one year I want to be a little bit lower, one year I want to be a little higher. It just the hitters kind of tell me where I need to be.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Welcome aboard.
All right, thanks.
My dogs are barking, so somebody else please go.
Evan took all my questions.
Well, that's
All
great. Two birds with one stone.
right. Hey, Hobie, Jeff Wilson for DLS. Were the Rangers your team growing up? I mean, growing up in Fort Worth and going to Pat's and all
Yes,
that.
yes. I had a handful of teams because my dad's been in the baseball world and he's
Right.
worked or played for a couple teams. So, um, the Rangers were my ride or die. I was watching Channel 27 growing up. That was the channel they were on at the time. But yeah, no, I've been to handfuls of games at the old stadium. And I was telling someone about this earlier, I think Rich, that I have stadium seats from the old ballpark in my backyard from when I guess they did when they did the renovations. They demolished kind of the third base side, I think, for
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
sure.
football stadium so that they could put like the football games in there. And
Mhm.
they auctioned off some of the seats, so we bought some. Uh, but yeah, so the Rangers have been my team for a long time.
Would- At at what point or at any point did you expect to find yourself in this position where with the non-tender and everything?
I mean, I was not surprised that I got non-tendered. I don't know what point in the season I was like, yeah, they're probably going to non-tender me. It was probably somewhere in that terrible stretch I had in the middle of the season. That was probably when I started thinking that was a possibility. And um, I mean, it's business is business. They weren't willing to pay what my arbitration number was going to be for the role I'd be in. They have a bunch of good left-handed relievers, and they didn't feel the need to keep me around. So, yeah, I get that, and yeah, and I didn't know if I'd be um, attractive to the Rangers or not, but I'm glad everything worked out the way it did.
When did they first contact you?
Uh, I'm not certain. I'd say we probably started talking like a month ago, maybe.
Okay, so
That's like
before
it was when they were one of the first teams to reach out.
okay.
And teams were reaching out pretty early in the off season. So like, yeah, they were definitely one of the first teams.
Okay. Great. I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Hoby, Stephen Hawkins with the AP in Dallas. Of course, I live in Fort Worth, so you live a little closer to the stadium than I do.
Okay.
And I don't think they know what channel they're going to be on this year yet. So we'll have to see what channel.
Yeah, my mom was actually asking me that question today. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. She's
Anyway.
like, the games are going to get blacked out on MLB. Yeah, that's okay.
You mentioned your mom. How is this for the family? How are they responding to this, knowing that you're going to, not only you, but you'll be closer to home, but for them?
Oh, yeah, no, everyone's super excited. My mom actually lives in Granbury, so it'd be kind of a haul for her to get up here. But I'm sure she'll be coming up to games a lot. But she's super excited. And I think for her, it'd be more exciting that I'm just going to be here for 6 more months out of the year, 6 to 7, as opposed to not seeing her for so long, you know. My dad has moved to Florida. He retired and moved to Florida a few years ago, so my location is irrelevant to him.
Okay.
But I mean, my wife's family is all here. She went to Richland High School here. I live in North Richland Hills, like I was saying, and my wife's family's all local, so we've got everyone here that we need, and we've got a couple kids, so it's nice to have all the family close by.
Are there any guys in the Rangers you're close to or know very well?
You know, I don't know hardly anyone on the Rangers. I played with Nate Lowe, with the Rays. I think we were just in AAA together. But aside from him, I don't, unless I'm blanking on somebody, I don't think I really know anyone.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. Look forward to working with you.
All right. You too.
Anything else?
Hey, Hobie, I'm just going to throw one stupid question out there. Not that the other ones haven't been equally stupid. But there's a number of relievers kind of in the same boat as you. I wouldn't say necessarily non-tenders, but there are some veteran free agent relievers out there who are all North Texas natives. I'm just wondering if you could theorize, could this team build a pretty good bullpen simply by bringing all the Texans home?
I'm sure they could, because I've run into quite a few guys that are pretty solid from this area. I mean, just today I saw Brooks Raley and AJ Minter. Yesterday I saw Danny Colomb, all the lefties, pretty much all the lefties in the area that are free agents. I saw all those guys around here. It's hard to tell who actually lives here now and guys who are just showing up for a little bit and whatnot, but I guarantee they could field a decent bullpen with the guys around here.
Where'd you run into all those guys?
TMI in
TMI?
Arlington. Yeah, I like to go in there a couple times a week, and I rehabbed something there about 6 years ago, and I just built a good rapport with them, and so I just go in there to get an arm stretch and do stuff in there if need be every once in a while.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for entertaining that question.
No problem.
All right. If no one else is going to take any shots at the TV situation, we can wrap this up.
Rich, would you like to tell us what channel you're going to be on this year?
I think everything's looking very positive. Very positive. Hopefully we have some news soon. We appreciate Hoby for joining. Thanks, Hoby. We all hope to see you in person soon.
All righty. All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Thanks, Hoby. Take care.
See y'all around.